Hi guys, this is Ane on Anything for Geeks, and today we are going to start a new paleontology series in which we will talk about ancient life, and I thought it was only appropriate to start this off with our buddy the T-Rex. As you can see, the T-Rex's mouth is wide open, as if he's about to bite on something. So, today we'll talk about the T-Rex and its behavior, a bit about its lifestyle, and about the world in which it lived in. So, starting off, we have the T-Rex. Here's the T-Rex. It's gray. Its mouth is open. And T-Rex stands for Tyrannosaurus Rex, which means the tyrant lizard king. Well, it's not actually a lizard, but it certainly was a tyrant king of its world. So the name does make sense when you consider that it's a reptile, but it doesn't when you consider that T-Rex is actually related more to a chicken than it is to a lizard. But anyways, we have our buddy the T-Rex. We're going to talk a bit about the world in which it lived in. So T-Rex lived from about 80 million years to 65 million years ago. That's a long time ago, in the late Cretaceous period. And it was actually one of the last non-avian dinosaurs. And non-avian means that it was not a bird in the way that we think of a bird. So it couldn't fly, it did not have wing feathers, and I say wing feathers because this choice is actually inaccurate in a way, because T-Rex actually may have had feathers. It at least may have had feathers a little bit on the head and some growing out of the arms and legs, because a lot of T-Rex relatives have been found with feathers, including modern-day birds. So we think that T-Rex also may have had feathers. Although in popular culture they're shown like this, like sort of more like a lizard. And we are going to talk about what the Cretaceous was like. In the late Cretaceous period, there was a lot more oxygen, and it was much more hot than it is today. So the climate was much more suited for big reptiles like T-Rex. And even though T-Rex may have been warm-blooded, a lot of reptiles back then were not. They were cold-blooded, meaning that they had to use the sun's heat to regulate their own body temperature. And while we think that T-Rex may have been warm-blooded because it's very closely related to modern birds, which are warm-blooded, we also think that many of its prey animals may have been cold-blooded, like the ceratopsian dinosaur, Triceratops. And we think that since they had so much heat from the sun and so much energy, that they could grow gigantic. And I have a Lego minifigure. This is the Lego minifigure. This is it. And so this is the Lego minifigure. This stands for an actual person. And whoops, the minifigure fell. Holds back. Right, and here are the scales of a Triceratops and a T-Rex to an actual human, because these are toys, so I have to use a Lego minifigure in order to actually give you the size comparison. So you can see that this is very big And this is more of an approximate, like, because the Triceratops isn't this tall, but around that height, around the height of an elephant. So yeah. And we have, in popular culture, the T-Rex is shown as facing off the Triceratops. So like, yeah, they will fight each other. But now, according to scientists who have examined the fossilized poop of the T-Rex, we think that it may have its favorite prey were hadrosaur dinosaurs, like this herbivorous Parasaurolophus with its impressive head crest that may have been used as a resonating chamber, so that whenever the Parasaurolophus calls for other Parasaurolophus, the sound is amplified through this hollow structure. But we think that T-Rex's favorite prey would have been hadrosaurs like this, because they weren't particularly fast, and T-Rex was slow for a carnivore. So this would have been perfect prey to chase down. And they had no particular big defense other than deafening predators with their loud noises. And so if T-Rex was able to overcome that sound, it could easily take down a hadrosaur. And the T-Rex gets an easy meal. Yum, yum. But still, the Cretaceous was a harsh and unforgiving place, and there were lots of predators. But T-Rex didn't have to worry about this that much, because now we think that T-Rex hunted in packs because most of its relatives have been found fossilized while hunting in packs. And so we think that T-Rex also may have hunted in packs, even though we don't have any direct fossil evidence for that. So T-Rex might have been like a gigantic reptilian chicken-like wolf. That's one way that you could see it. But when T-Rex was first discovered, because of its large size, paleontologists thought, or most scientists thought, that T-Rex hunted like a modern-day tiger would, meaning that it would hunt alone and guard its territory very fiercely alone. But now that other carnivores very closely related to T-Rex have been found in packs of lots of adults and juveniles, we think that T-Rex now hunted in packs. Which is interesting, because then it would be overpowered if there were multiple T-Rexes working together to take down one prey. But then that is very unlikely, and I, for my part, think that they would have hunted a lot of prey, because you can't just have one prey for a lot of T-Rexes unless that prey is really big and you've only got one adult and a lot of kid T-Rexes, juveniles. And so I think that the most likely option is that if T-Rex hunted in packs with lots of adults, it would probably have taken down a lot of prey as well on hunting missions. Well, they're not really like missions, but like hunting trips or something like that, like a hunt. And I think you get what I'm saying. You get the basic idea. So, we have the T-Rex, and we have the prey. In this case, I'm gonna choose the Parasaurolophus. And let's put the Triceratops away. I have two raptors. Well, yeah, they're actually raptors, but since they're small, I'm gonna use them as young T-Rexes, juveniles. So what happens is you have this T-Rex, you have the Parasaurolophus, you have these juveniles. So what they do is they chase the Parasaurolophus right into the jaws of the adult T-Rex, which could be the mother or father of the juveniles. And since this is Parasaurolophus with no actual defenses, this pack of T-Rexes, I mean, these are actually raptors, but these T-Rexes get an easy meal, and that's what happens. However, the T-Rex's reign only lasts 15 million years. I mean, that's a long time, but if you look at the time scale that Earth has been around, 15 million years is a very short time. And T-Rex first appeared around 80 million years ago. So 15 million years later, you get 65 million years ago. So what happens is, well, you don't know for exact, but this could be what happened. If you study astronomy or astrology, you guys will know this, but like between Jupiter and Mars, there's this big asteroid belt, and scientists speculate, this is just speculating, these are just hypotheses. We can't really prove them because we can't just build a spaceship and go back 65 million years ago into space, as of yet, that is. But what we can do is guess what would have happened back then. And what we think happened is that in that big asteroid belt, two asteroids may have collided, and one big chunk of one of those asteroids just exploded off, and that chunk was sent hurtling towards Earth, and it would have gone faster as it came closer to Earth's gravity. So you have this asteroid that's coming towards Earth, and it slams straight into Mexico on the Yucatan Peninsula, which is like that big thing, Mexico's shape, sort of like a sideways triangle, and the Yucatan is that big blob that sticks out from the side. If you look at a map, you'll recognize what I'm talking about. Anyway, this asteroid just smashes right off the coast of the Yucatan Peninsula, and half the crater is on land, and half of it is, approximately half of it is on land, and approximately half is underwater. But what this does is, the asteroid sends lots of rocks just hurtling back towards space. At least that's what scientists think. That's what happened. And these rocks come back towards Earth because they haven't been ejected far enough to escape the pull of Earth's gravity. So they too fall back in a rain of big rocks. So everywhere there are rocks falling. And what also happens is that we think that volcanoes may have erupted, and a huge tsunami caused by an earthquake would have washed away a lot of things. And then you have the volcanoes. Now you would expect the volcanoes to make everything burn, but that happens for a short time. But after that, what happens is the volcanoes explode, and they send volcanic ash up into the skies and lots of volcanic ash. And the ash blocks the sun's rays from reaching anywhere. And Earth's atmosphere is covered by a blanket of ash. So everything gets frozen because there is no warmth or light. And this is known as the Great Winter. And most of the dinosaurs die. Most of them die. Like the raptors, the juvenile the T-Rexes, the Pterosaurolophus. These are ankylosaurs, the Triceratops, its relatives, the Styracosaurus, and the Pentaceratops. Excuse me, that was just the sound of something falling. This dude, which is a Pachycephalosaur, another likely prey animal. For T-Rex, but it would have been small, so it's just a snack. There's Oviraptor, which actually did not live with T-Rex. It lived far away in Mongolia, where there was another T-Rex relative called Tarbosaurus. But all of this, and this all become extinct, meaning that there are no longer anything of that kind left on Earth. And we have this guy. Well, he was extinct long before this happened, but you might notice that he looks a lot like the T-Rex, but he's not a T-Rex relative. He's actually from a different lineage of carnivorous dinosaurs. And we're going to talk about him next time. And the biggest difference that you can notice between these toys is that the hands, this guy has 5 fingers. There actually are only 3, but in this toy there are 5, and T-Rex only has 2 fingers. And besides, the arms are much bigger than they are on T-Rex. You can't actually see it, but the arm starts much higher than it does on the T-Rex, so it appears that the T-Rex's arm is bigger, but actually this guy's arm is bigger. And we will talk about him next time. So that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe, and stay tuned. We'll see you next week. Bye.